Hello. I'm unusually perky, probably because I just had a cup of tea and I had coffee this morning and I'm having a second cup of tea. Caffeine. It's hot. You know, technically I'm not supposed to have caffeine because, like, anxiety. But fuck it, because I'm a college student and I have no energy of my own. Great segue. Okay. So, this video has been needing to be filmed for a while, but I have not had the time to film it, or, like, the inspiration to film it, but finally I think the time and the inspiration have come together to create this video. So here we go. Today I'm talking about my thesis, which, for those of you who don't know, is a queer rendition of Hamlet. I am going to be smiling so much throughout this video, just to let you know if my face looks really dumb because I have a stupid grin on my face. It's gonna look that way the entire video. You're welcome. Okay, first we're gonna start with a bit of background. I have no idea how long this video is gonna be. If it's super long, I'm so sorry. I could talk about this for literal days straight. I have been obsessed with Hamlet ever since I was a small wee bab. In the 4th grade, my teacher read us like a children's picture book version of Hamlet, and ever since then, like, I have been obsessed with Hamlet. So obsessed. I waited like my entire K-12 career to read Hamlet, and we finally read it in my senior year of high school. Literally the last year of high school, we read Hamlet, and we did, like, whenever we read a play in school, we would do dramatic readings of it, and I volunteered to be Hamlet, more like demanded to be Hamlet to some degree. All of my friends, I was friends with everybody in that class because, like, when you're an honors kid for your life, you just kind of become friends with all of the other honors kids. And so we all knew each other, and everybody was just like, just let Jesse do Hamlet, like, let them read Hamlet, it's fine. So I read for the part of Hamlet, and I just, it was, like, the best thing, but it also, like, gave me a taste of playing Hamlet, and since then, I have wanted to play Hamlet in a production so badly, just so badly. The problem is, I am not a theater person. I have done maybe a couple plays in my entire life, and these plays, one of them, I played a clown, which was a silent part, back in, like, the 3rd grade, probably, and it was more of a dancing thing than it was, like, a play. Which is funny because I can't dance. I remember having to do, like, some gymnastic kind of feat, and, like, they were like, oh, do cartwheels, and I can't do cartwheels for shit, so I ended up doing, like, a tumble or something. It was really dumb. This is such a sidetrack. Anyways, and then the other play that I've ever done was, like, in 6th grade, our principal of our school used to, like, write plays, and every year the 6th graders would perform it, and so I auditioned for that, but I got, like, this really dumb part. I played a monk. I had a joke that, like, no one got. I understood it and I liked it, but, like, no one laughed at it, and it was so dumb. Oh my god. But I have always been such, like, a shy person until recently. Like, even, like, freshman year of high school me would not have done this, let alone, like, speak in front of people. Like, high school was an experience and a journey for me, and I really came out of my shell, so. But since then I haven't had a time or, like, the opportunity to be in a play. I almost auditioned for a play in high school, but then it was like a singing play, and I wasn't quite ready to share my voice with the world at that point, in terms of singing. So I ended up not trying out for it. God, I am rambling so much. This is so off topic. Anyways, so I've been dying to play Hamlet for, like, a really long time. And I also, ever since we read Hamlet in school, have shipped Hamlet and Horatio harder than almost anything else. Honestly, I ship them as much as I ship John and Sherlock, which, if you don't know me, just go look at my Tumblr. Like, 90% of it is just John Locke. John and Sherlock are essentially my OTP, and I ship Hamlet and Horatio almost as much as them, if not more. I really can't decide, because that's how much I love all of those characters. And so, ever since I read the play, and I've been like, I would love to act in it one day, but I also would love to write, like, a queer version, or at least if I was to act as Hamlet, I would want to act as though Hamlet and Horatio were in a relationship and make that, like, explicitly clear. I've written bits of fanfic here and there for Hamlet, and I've, you know, often tried to memorize parts and thought of playing it and things like that. And then, oh, this is another thing. I cosplay as Hamlet, which is a weird thing to cosplay. Like, I was Hamlet for Halloween my freshman year of college, and then I've, like, cosplayed him at last year's Phoenix Comic Con, just because I love the character. Like, no one knows who I am, because I'm literally just wearing, like, a button down and suspenders and carrying a skull around and just like, ha ha ha, last poor York. And that's, like, no one thinks that you're cosplaying, which is fine, like, whatever. But I try to dress up as him a lot, and so, when I was on the flight home from visiting Marcus, I was thinking about what I have to do for a thesis, and I have to do a thesis for my honors college, so we are allowed to do a creative project instead of a thesis. And I was like, wouldn't it be cool if I did a queer version of Hamlet for my honors project? And then I thought about it, and I was like, I'm fucking doing a queer version of Hamlet for my honors project. So here we are, second semester of my senior year, and I have not a whole lot done of it. It's one of those things where I want it to be so perfect that I haven't touched it, and I'm scared to touch it. But I'm finally getting to the point where I kind of know what I want to do, and I'm not as terrified anymore. The only thing I'm terrified of right now is the fact that I have such little time left. All of this I haven't even talked about the project at all. Okay, so I'm doing a queer version of Hamlet, and the way that I am doing it is I'm going to be presenting it through YouTube. I haven't figured out quite how I'm setting it up yet, but essentially, here's just kind of like a background on how I'm changing the characters, and then I'll go into a little bit more of like what I want to do with the storyline. For the characters, I am writing it as though Hamlet is trans. He's a trans guy, and he is a polyamorous pansexual, or bisexual. I mean, those two are kind of interchangeable to some people. So he is in love with Ophelia, but also in love with Horatio. And then Horatio is a non-binary individual, and I haven't quite decided what pronouns I'm going to use for them yet, so we'll stick with they for now. But they're dating Hamlet, and Ophelia is a lesbian who was dating Hamlet before Hamlet went to university, and then, you know, Hamlet comes back and he kind of they all have to feel that. That's the only major, like, character backgrounds that I have in mind, really. The rest of them just kind of stick with the idea of, like, you know, what they originally are in the play, because there's not much influence. As far as that, I might play with hints of, you know, making some characters queer at some point, but I haven't really gone into that quite yet. That'll come more as the story develops. And so far, in terms of story, I don't have a whole lot, but, so what I've decided that I want to do is essentially I'm going to try and make it as though they are YouTubers, which is such a millennial thing, but I'm kind of really excited. So the plan is that Horatio kind of does like weird philosophy vlogs and things like that, and Ophelia kind of has like an aesthetic vlogger channel kind of thing, you know, where she just kind of does like daily vlogs, but then also like travel and event vlogs or something like that. And then Hamlet, he does like slam poetry and just weird rants at the camera, I suppose. And so the plan is, for what I would like to do, is to film scenes as though they're vlogging or they're filming videos or whatever. And so the actual scenes that we will see might not be the scenes from the play specifically, but they will all relate to the same story. I was debating whether or not I wanted to change the ending. Part of me is so sick, not part of me, all of me is so sick of the tragic queer love story, and I don't want this to just be another tragic queer love story, but the way that I want to do it doesn't quite make sense unless it is a tragedy, and you'll see that when the production is done, hopefully. I might, at some other point, write or film some kind of happy ending for Hamlet, because I really wish I could give him a happy ending. I think he deserves it. I think he does fuck up, but I also think that a lot of it is due to mental health issues and such. Yeah, that's the plan. That's right now what I have. I have some scenes written out and kind of like all of the scenes mapped out to try and figure out how I can film them. I don't know if I mentioned, but the plan is to film all of Hamlet's soliloquies as though they're slam poetry. So that's kind of like why he's a slam poet. And then Horatio, like at the beginning where there's the ghost scene, he's kind of like, oh, like philosophy, like, oh, are ghosts real, like do people live on after death kind of thing, and it like will play into that hopefully. So that's just kind of like a tidbit of hopefully what is to come. Yeah, God, I don't really know what else to say about this. Basically, I am doing it because I love Hamlet so much, but I also, like, part of the reason that I love Hamlet so much is because I think I relate to him in some ways. When reading it in high school, I was depressed, and I didn't, like, connect these until recently, but I think that's a large reason of why I grasped onto his character, is because his character is so largely depressed, and that's something that I really kind of want to focus on, not necessarily focus on, but kind of address in my production, is the fact that a lot of what's going on with Hamlet is because of other mental health issues and like emotions that he has to deal with but is not allowed to deal with, right? And so I want to explore the idea of Hamlet and Horatio aren't allowed to be a couple in the royal court, so of course that's going to affect Hamlet as well as it's going to affect Horatio. And, you know, all of the tension between him and Ophelia, because especially if I'm making him trans, there's that tension of, well, Ophelia identified as a lesbian and now Hamlet identifies as a man, and how does she feel about that? How does that change their relationship, as well as the fact that just if you read Hamlet, like, he just seems depressed throughout the entire thing. Even at the beginning, his character screams that he has depression, and that affects him so largely throughout the play. It affects the decisions that he makes and the way that he deals with other people. He never truly relies on anyone. He never truly confides in anyone, right? He has Horatio, who is his best friend in the world. He has Ophelia, who he's in love with, and he doesn't tell them really what's going on. He doesn't tell anybody what's going on. He just kind of plays this scheme out that he has in his head, and he includes them to some degree, but not to full degree, and all of that, like, pushing people away, not talking to people about things, obsessing over things, the way he obsesses over his father's death, they can be signs of depression. And so I'm going to take that idea and play with it as well. At the end of this whole ordeal, I have to produce like a written report of some kind, and of course the project. The written report, I'm still kind of juggling around what I'm going to actually do for that. I think that I'm sticking with my original idea of kind of a journal-like report that kind of explains my thought process, where I'm coming from, and then the readings that I'm doing to kind of help me grasp an understanding of Shakespeare, but also an understanding of how do you put on a production, how do you interpret things like that. I'm taking a Shakespeare class right now to hopefully help with that, and I'm reading up on like gender in Shakespeare's performances, the way gender can like affect performance, but also the ways that Shakespeare plays with gender in his plays and things like that. So I'm doing readings on Shakespeare and performance in general to try and, because I'm not a theater person, like I've said. I don't come from like film or English or anything like that. I'm an urban planning major, so this is a bit out of my forte, I suppose, but I've always been a relatively good English student, and I'm obviously a YouTuber, so I'm hoping that these two worlds can meet and hopefully produce something really cool. I don't really know if this video is going to make sense. I hope it makes sense. It was kind of just me rambling at a camera, but that's my project. So far what I have and kind of what I'm thinking through. Hopefully you enjoyed me rambling about it. If you have any questions or suggestions, definitely hit me up in the comments below. Like I said, I could talk about this for literally days, and even like it doesn't even have to be specifically related to like Hamlet or like my project, like literally anything Shakespeare, just put it in the comments, and if I have thoughts on them, I will share them with you. Other than that, thank you for watching, and I will hopefully see you soon. Feel free to give me a thumbs up if you liked this video, and I will see you next time.